Hey folks, today we're going to make some mini scalloped potatoes. Also, you could call them mini potatoes au gratin. They can be served as a side dish or appetizer. And here is a look at the ingredients you're going to need. First, go ahead and peel your russet potatoes. You should use russet potatoes here because, unlike the red potatoes, they turn a lot softer, a lot faster, and the red potatoes will just stick together. Don't drop your potato there. And after you peel these, give them a good wash. In the U.S., we call these scalloped potatoes or potatoes au gratin potatoes. In the U.S., we call these scalloped potatoes or potatoes au gratin potatoes. Au gratin potatoes are probably a more accurate description. The term gratin comes from the French word gratter, G-R-A-T-T-E-R, which means to scrape or to grate. Long story short, it means something that's cut very thin. A gratin dish is a shallow, oven-proof container that is used to prepare gratin dishes, aka thin dishes. This is where it gets a little unusual. Thin your potato down, cut it down so that the diameter fits the diameter of a muffin pan. We do this because when we slice them up, we want the thin slices to actually fit inside the muffin pan. Now I'm using a mandolin to slice these thinly and evenly. You can certainly use a butcher knife and slice them as thin as you can, but the consistency will never be the same. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description for the mandolin. They're really inexpensive. They're a good tool to have on hand, so it's worth a few bucks to have in your kitchen. Now notice I did not slice it all the way to the end by hand. There's a tool that comes with the kit to hold the very end of the vegetable so you don't slice your fingertips off. Let's go ahead and make the sauce. First, we add half a stick of butter. I'll chop this up into 4 different tablespoons. That will let it melt faster. Next, we add a few cloves of garlic. I like to use a garlic press because it crushes the garlic a lot finer than I could ever chop and releases a lot of the garlic oils. And make sure that your temperature is on medium, low to medium. We don't want to burn the butter. We just want to melt it and let the garlic start to cook. Give that a good stir. Now, as tempting as it would be to just pour a little bit into each muffin pan, I'm using a silicone brush. I mostly use this brush for spreading on barbecue sauce on the grill, but it works really well in this application as well. Now, you could add some cooking spray to achieve the same purpose, but this adds a lot more flavor. Now we add some heavy cream to what's left of the butter and garlic mixture. It's probably about a half cup. Now go ahead and add about a tablespoon of thyme. If you can get fresh thyme, it is worth it. Now throw in your sliced potatoes. We're going to cook these a little bit in our mixture here before we add them to the pan to bake. You only need to cook them for about 5 minutes to soften them up a bit. The oven's going to do most of the cooking. Now let that cool a bit so you can add these by hand. You can use some tongs, sure, but it's just a whole lot faster to grab a stack of these and fill up the muffin pan. Only fill these up about halfway or a little more than halfway because we're going to add a layer of cheese and a couple of more slices to it. Now we need to make a little cube of cheese for each muffin pan. This is creamy Havarti. It's like a creamy cheddar, just way, way better. I thought I had the camera running, but basically you put a square of cheese into each slot and then put a couple more slices of potato on top. Then we'll go ahead and cover these with some foil and cook them at 350 for about 45 minutes. In the meantime, go ahead and grate about 8 ounces of the Havarti. You can use other creamy cheeses you like maybe a Gruyere or maybe even a Gouda if you like. Smoked Gouda would probably work really well in this dish. And when you get that grated, just set it aside. We're going to sprinkle it on top in a few minutes. And go ahead and chop up your parsley. It's mostly a garnish, mostly for looks. It does add a little bit of flavor, but it makes the final presentation look really nice. So take the pan out of the oven and remove the aluminum foil. Now we're going to sprinkle a little bit of the cheese on top of each scallop potato, mini scallop potato, and then we'll put it back in the oven and let that melt all together. After about 10 minutes, the cheese will brown up and the smell is just incredible at this point. Sprinkle on your parsley. It looks really good and it does add a bit of flavor to the dish. Now, the best part, we get to plate it and eat it. So if you've enjoyed this video, I ask that you like the video and go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We greatly appreciate it and hope you have a wonderful day.